Naam, ulipoamka ulipata mlio fulani wa saa almaarufu alarm clock. Ilitoa sauti kwamba kuashiria ni wakati wa kuamka. Ile sauti ilikufanya wewe kuamka. Labda ukaamua kuweza kupasha chakula moto katika microwave almaarufu microwave. Ikatoa sauti kwa ishara kwa chakula ki tayari, na ukachukua chakula na ukaweza kukila. Katika mlango kuna mtu ambaye alikuja, huenda akagonga ama akabisha. Sauti fulani iliweza kutokea kuonyesha ishara kuwa kuna mtu yuko mlangoni anagonga, na wewe ndani ukajua kwamba ile sauti ni ya mlango umegongwa. Ni ishara tosha kwamba katika mishemishe ya binadamu sauti ni muhimu zaidi. Lakini fikiria mtu ambaye hana uwezo wa kusikia. Ukigonga mlango hatojua kwamba unagonga mlango, na wewe hautojua kwamba ameweza kusikia kwamba umegonga mlango ama umebisha. Hii ni safari ya watu ambao hawana uwezo wa kusikia, ila sauti itaweza kuwafanya wasikie.
Kulingana na sensa ya mwaka 2019 nchini Kenya, idadi ya watu wanaoishi na ulemavu wa kusikia na waliokuwa na umri wa miaka 5 na zaidi walikuwa 153,381. Ripoti hiyo inaonyesha zaidi kwamba watu 129,518 wasiosikia wanaishi vijijini, huku ikilinganishwa na 23,843 wanaoishi mijini. Kizuizi cha mawasiliano tayari ni changamoto. Tulikutana na Esther Mweni, mtaalam wa teknolojia ambaye rafiki yake anayeishi na ulemavu wa kusikia kwa wakati mmoja kwa kukosa ishara hitajika, ila alinusurika tukio hilo la ajali.
I want to visit this friend of mine. Is called Daniel, and I find him in crutches and with a broken arm. So Daniel is deaf, and so I asked him, okay, what happened? So he's telling me that he was walking alongside the K road. He lives somewhere in K road. And a lorry lost control, and so it came out of the way to the pavement, and as Daniel is walking along, everyone is running out of the way. The lorry is hooting, people are running out of the way, and Daniel is confused. He's trying to look around. Now what's happening? What's going on? He can't hear the lorry hooting, and by the time he turns back, the lorry is already there, and Daniel gets knocked over. Luckily it was not fatal. He just broke his legs and his hands. And Daniel tells us this story, and we realize, no, we need to build something for this. We need to solve this challenge.
Esther aliamua kuwatafuta marafiki zake ili kutafuta suluhu la kutosikia kwa rafiki yao, na kisha kuunda kifaa kupitia teknolojia, kifaa ambacho kinawasaidia watu wenye ulemavu wa kusikia kufahamu sauti zinapotokea.
He tells us that when he is in the room, he has to leave his door open always, because when someone comes in, he will not be able to know someone is knocking. So he leaves the door open during the day. At night he just hopes that no emergency happens and is not needed. And we think, okay, we are IoT engineers. Why don't we make it a challenge to build a solution for this? Why don't we build something that is going to make an impact to the deaf persons, and not just thinking about the knocking sounds. Let's think about other sounds. What happens if a deaf person is walking along the road and maybe a lorry lost control and it's trying to hoot and getting out of the way? What happens in that case? What happens if maybe it's a deaf mother and their child is crying in the other room? How do they know that their child is crying? So we look at these challenges and realized we are IoT engineers. We have the skills, we have the capacity to solve this challenge. Why don't we build a solution for this?
Kuna sauti nyingi muhimu. Fikiri kutoweza kujua kuwa kuna mtu anabisha mlangoni. Na hivyo Esther akafikiria kuanza na kifaa cha mlangoni ili mwenye ulemavu huu afahamu sauti ya kubishwa kwa mlango.
I started working on this idea on how do we use these sounds, how do we use this vibration to actually solve the problem that is at hand. And having been an IoT engineer for several years, about 7 years, the idea started cooking, and to a point where we could even go to the market with it, go to the people actually having this problem each and every single day, and present it to them, and for them to test it and bring their feedback to us.
Esther amebuni suluhu ambayo inaweza kuwasilisha sauti tofauti kwa wenye ulemavu wa kusikia kwa njia wanayoweza kuitambua.
Let's assume there's a deaf person in this room and someone is knocking from the other side. The first time they won't hear, but with knock device, someone knocks, the device flickers, and if the person has a phone, the phone starts vibrating. So in that way, if anyone is knocking at the door, a deaf person in this room, whether they are alone or they are with someone else, they're able to see that light and turn, knowing that there's someone knocking at the other side of the door. The beauty of this, it's not just sending the sound, it's sensing the sound and the vibration. And we're using beautiful technology called artificial intelligence to be able to analyze both of those and recognize that that was actually a knock and maybe not someone kicking the door.
Kuunda kifaa kinachoingiliana na programu ambayo hutoa kengele ya mlango kwa wasiosikia kwa njia murwa ni yenye usalama pale mtetemo wake hutambuliwa na mwenye ulemavu wa kusikia. Ili kujaribu kifaa hiki, tulimtembelea Brian ambaye pia akona ulemavu wa kusikia eneo la Juja. Brian ni baba wa watoto wawili na anatumia kifaa cha knock kuona jinsi uvumbuzi huu unavyofanya kazi.
Yeah. So this knock device, how I use it actually is, you see, when someone is outside and they knock, it is able to produce light, and this light I'm able to see that there's someone at the door, and then I can be able to open.
Now, how does it help you so far?
Yeah, so how it's helping me, you see, myself, I'm deaf. So before that, I had a lot of challenges because someone would have to flicker the lights like this. But it's hard because, you know, you won't know who is there, or if I'm far, or let's give like, you have to actually call me. So I met Joseph, and he was telling me about what they are working on, and actually he gave me one to actually we can come and test, and it has actually worked well, and I have seen even the development that we're doing even with the deaf people. Also, because Joseph himself is an interpreter, and he can be able actually to see the time and the challenges that is there. So we're able even to look at how other can we be able to connect it. For example, even using the phone, that the alert can be sent to the phone, and in this way actually it can be easy. So this is the first one that we actually installed here, the first version, and the second one will have that connection to the phone.
Brian anaeleza jinsi alivyokuwa na changamoto sihaba nyumbani kabla ya kifaa hiki.
So before, the challenge was big because one, I would always have to rely on the phone. So if the phone is far or I didn't hear the vibration, oops, I'm stuck. I have a baby, so my child will be here knocking the door, or even my mother, they will be here knocking the door, and let's say I have even closed the curtain, so it's impossible actually to call me. So this innovation actually has really helped me, and I'm really happy. For example, you know, like how you could have a watch vibrating and you can actually know. Yes. So it's easy. So the same way it just vibrates and you'll know. And also you could even use the smartwatch if you have it, and even the alert will also come to the smartwatch, and you'll actually be able to know, oh yeah, there's somebody at the door. So it's like, you know how you can even integrate it with even video to actually know who is there at the door. So for example, let's say some of the challenges would be on how deaf people would use. So you see, like for example, before, let's say you're married, and one of the challenge would be if you have locked here and the person doesn't know, or you've slept, that's a challenge. So that's one of the challenge I had.
Right now, all phones have either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and with IoT is basically the ability to communicate between different devices, and for this communication to happen, you need to use these technologies like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, and that's what we are considering with the device itself. So what you do is just connect the device through to your phone, and anytime the device receives the signal is transmitted to the phone itself. through this either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, depending on the version of the device that you have.
Kwa teknolojia ya Esther inaweza kuunganisha kifaa hiki kwenye simu ambapo mtu anapogonga mlango, mbali na kifaa hiki kuzuia mtetemo na kutema, mhusika ambaye hana uwezo wa kusikia atapokea arifa ya mtetemo kwenye simu yake. Kama vile uvumbuzi mwingine wowote, kifaa cha kubishwa kwa mlango kwa wasiosikia kina changamoto zake.
The device is not always on. It has a battery which needs recharging. The battery life is about 7 days based on the usage of the device itself. And after that you need to remove it, recharge it. And that might come to a disadvantage, especially in the current model, to persons who don't have electricity in their places. And we're trying to navigate that by using solar to recharge, for recharging purposes in regions where electricity may not reach the house. The device itself is it's damage proof. That means you have tried to make it in such a way that even if a kid right now took it and threw it down, it's not going to damage. But of course there are some damages that can be avoided. Maybe someone takes it, starts hammering it down, because it's going to be damaged. But you have made it in such a way that some of these unexpected damages cannot occur on the device itself.
Brian ana mtoto mcheshi ambaye angependa kucheza na babake kila wakati, na kwa hivyo kifaa hiki kimemrahisishia mtoto anapotaka kumwona babake, anajua ni nini cha kumwarifu babake ambaye hana uwezo wa kusikia. Watu wanaoishi na ulemavu wa kusikia nchini Kenya, kama ilivyo kwa watu kama hao ulimwenguni kote, huweka thamani kubwa kwa jamii. Kuwa pamoja katika ushirika ni thamani ya juu ya kitamaduni kwao. Uwazi katika hali zote ni muhimu, ikizingatiwa tamaduni na kueleweka kikamilifu kwa watu wanaoishi na ulemavu. Na kwa sababu ya kutosikia, wahusika hupokea habari zao nyingi kwa macho au pia ishara.
20% of the global population are either deaf or experience hearing loss. 20%. That is over 1.5 billion people. And out of those people, over 400 million people are actually disabled by the deafness. This is a big population. And we are all candidates of it, either from any natural occurrence or even old age. What we're building here is a solution that is going to come to help us to interact with the environment and help us actually perceive sound. And by perceiving sound, we'll interact with the environment more. We're building this so that each and every one of us, if we ever gonna need it, for it actually to come to our aid.
Picha za aina yoyote zinazotumiwa katika hali yoyote na hudhaminiwa na wasiosikia. Lugha ya ishara ya Kenya inahitajika kisheria ili kuwezesha upatikanaji wa habari kwa wasiosikia, ikiwa ni pamoja na majibu ya dharura na sauti ni muhimu. Nia ya Esther ni kuwawezesha wasiosikia kutofautisha milio ya sauti na kuwapa wasiosikia hali ya kawaida katika mazingira yoyote. Swali ni je, serikali itakubali wazo hilo na kuweka hazina ya kusaidia uvumbuzi kama wake Esther kwa walemavu? Nikiripotia runinga ya Ebru, mimi ni Odi Francis.